What's up, everybody?
Here we are.
Me and my buddy Keona here. He's nice enough to let me do some stuff for the website that he owns and operates and runs like a champion, Renegade Pop Culture. I'm just going to kind of do it for myself for something fun to do. And then Keona's like, we could do it for the website. I was like, that's a really cool idea. And I always wanted to show him Streamily for future stuff with podcasts possibly. So had fun doing this. We got about a minute left.
This is awesome. Hey guys. I am Keona. This is my first time on camera, so excuse my weird face. But I'm wearing the shirt with FemShep's face, so that kind of makes up for it, I think.
They get to see on this YouTube channel. They get to see me every day. So trust me, they have a primer for weird looking.
Oh, come on, Brock.
No, I'm quite excited about this, and the fact that the cat's out of the bag already about the Legendary Edition. We don't gotta hope and pray the whole time that that's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Oh,
5 seconds. Okay.
No.
But of course, you know that they're not going to be quite on time.
Oh, Lord, no. Happy End 7 Day. Whee!
This picture is awesome, by the way, the fist bumping shepherds.
Oh, it's so good. It just sucks that we never got this as a physical moment.
Yeah. Seriously, though, I mean, that ending, it went so meta that they could have totally done that, and it would have been fine.
Could have. Well, yeah, it just... That's one thing that they try to correct in Andromeda, where they had them just doing different things. I was like, you easily could have been like, didn't have to be Jane Shepard. It could have been John, that guy. But he happens to look a lot like whatever. And he's like, he's taking care of that. And then you just look at each other like, we know. They know.
Yes.
Or like, you could have just created the other one. Again,
oh yeah, totally.
Like try to do him whatever, and he's just kind of like the other dude that was in command that took care of some other stuff and rose in the ranks beside you, kind of.
I mean, they did the clone thing in Citadel.
That is true.
So they could have had like the male clone show up.
I also wish you could have had an option somehow to set it up to where if you had a female clone of yourself or a male clone of yourself come up.
Yeah, that would have been neat.
Yeah. Like you could.
I mean, I don't know how they did. They just messed around with like the chromosomes or something, and just like I mean, you can do anything in sci-fi, so you can.
And it's like you can't tell the Elusive Man was like, well, maybe his personality would have like listened
better. Yeah. If he was a dude, I could have controlled him.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's just like you could have had all the female options to be like, God, if you were a woman, you'd have been a bitch. Here we go.
Oh wow,
buddy! Let's all wave to everyone all over the world watching on N7 Day.
Hello,
this is awesome.
This is an insane accomplishment of technology because all of us here that you're watching are literally all over the place right now. It's crazy times that we have gathered our forces together for one very special N7 Day 2020. How things are going to work today. I've been gathering questions from all over the place for days and days and days. I think we got over 1,000 questions, comments, and shout outs from all over the world. Really.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
And so we're going to be going through those. We're going to be taking as many of those as we can, hanging out, telling stories, and at the very end, we're going to do some line readings and just have the best time.
No way!
I think we're here for nearly 2 hours, I think. So we're gonna have a long time. If you're tuning in live, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us. It's a crazy day, but it's a happy day. And I think all of us are jazzed up. Some of us are inebriated. So it's time to rock and roll and have a good time.
I love that the camera just switched to Allie when he said that.
So I'm going to quit the roll call of who is here. And then we'll get started, okay? And first we have lead editor Karen Weeks, who is in my window down there at the bottom. Hi, Karen. So good to see you. We have lead writer, Mr. Patrick Weeks, the killer of men and beasts.
Happy to be there.
Wow. The breaker of hearts. We have the VO director, casting director, Caroline Livingstone. Hello, Caroline. Nice. I didn't know you were coming until like yesterday, and I'm so stoked to have you here because it makes my job at the end so much easier, and I won't have imposter syndrome. We have the voice of Commander Shepard, Jennifer Hale.
Oh, shade.
The other voice of Commander Shepard, Mark Meir.
Hello. Happy and
the other voice.
There we go. we have the voice of Liara Tassoni,
Very nice.
Allie Hillis.
They're equals. Come
I
on.
Look at how she is just adorable.
I mean,
I don't see. Is Kimberly here yet? Do we have Kimberly?
She'll be joining us in progress.
Okay, so we don't have
Oh.
Kimberly yet.
and that voice.
I think my windows are maxed out.
I love
I've
it.
never moderated this many windows, so we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting. We have the voice of
Is
Kate.
he doing this over Zoom?
Barge.
Mhm.
Hello.
Look at Allie fixing up
we
her
have the
little
voice
photo.
of Jack, Courtney Taylor.
Man, Allie Hillis.
They're just very stoic right now. This might be very. We'll see.
It's never been that
Has to run a
fast.
little on the cool side.
DC
so-
Douglas's hair is
We
growing
have the
into
voice
a
of
lion
Legion,
mane.
Mr. DC Douglas.
Confirmed.
All right.
It has.
When I
it
met
has.
him, his
Voice of
hair was as
Sam
short as like
Trainer,
mine.
Alex Wilton Regan. All right.
Hey.
Grunt, Mr. Steve Bloom.
Yes.
All right.
He's great.
Salyers.
Present and accounted for.
Oh, so excited. Voice of Bane, Keith Farley.
I am alive.
All right, and my name is Ash. I'm a video game CM. I've been doing a podcast for about 10 years. I've had the pleasure of having a lot of these folks on over the course of my 10-year podcasting journey. And this is an absolute treat for me and an absolute pleasure to hang out with all you guys for such a long time. Like most of you watching now, Mass Effect is for me a very special game. It's regarded as my very favorite gaming franchise
I
in
didn't know
all
they
the
were going to do
lands.
line readings
I
after
love it
this.
so
That's going to be
much,
so cool.
and-
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man.
So incredibly excited to hang out with you guys on N7 Day. How's everybody doing? It's hard to ask so many people, but is everyone feeling pretty good?
Oh my God. There's I need to say
There she is.
Weird.
Oh, there she is.
this happened because it was just N7 Day, and why don't we all get together and it would be really fun. Kimberly, welcome.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah.
She is.
And it
There we
happened
go.
because of that. I had no idea about the remaster. Had no idea. And it is just the happiest coincidences, along with, one or two other things in the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. What's going on? Anything interesting happen? Yeah. No.
No, there's a
Just a
woman
normal day.
something. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Someone's playing
They're awesome.
golf forever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So for all those watching all over the world, Jen Hale threw this all together. This is all her baby. So if you're at home
You
watching,
and Ryan
I
Green.
believe it.
What's happened and yeah.
yes, well,
Thank you.
we're all
Jen
young
would
together.
totally be the
But
mom
you
if there was
were,
going to be
you were
one.
the one who pulled us all
Yes.
to give Jen a round of applause at home. Is this the biggest Mass Effect cast reunion that's happened thus far? To my knowledge, it might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
It's
so.
pretty.
Caroline's
pretty
not
good.
a yes, so I would say so. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Have
Yeah.
any of you guys not met each other before?
Yeah.
Any-
That's a good question.
Yeah, it is.
I think
We made a Dragon Con, but yeah, I think it's like a 60-40 kind of split thing.
That's
Yeah.
so exciting.
Hmm.
So this is like the first time some of you guys have ever done
Yeah.
a
I
panel.
didn't think
and
about
stuff.
that. Yeah, because they wouldn't
You're
all be in the
welcome.
same booths with each other.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's true.
I'm glad it's working out. There's a lot of happiness today. There's a lot of joy. It's a very joyful day. So your reunion is one of the things we're also.
Mark Mears, like facial,
So like I said,
facial expressions.
we're gonna
He's
blaze
very
through,
animated.
A number of
He's
community
great.
we got
Love him.
all over the place, and we
They're
have
all great.
and
That's
shout
what I
out
say.
to from people that have been touched by the Mass Effect franchise. So we have all sorts of stuff to go through. And at the end, what we're going to do is read a bunch of lines. And Caroline's here, and she's a professional. She's going to do
She's gonna like direct them.
Pretty much. You got to have someone
So
doing
Let's
this.
go ahead and jump into some questions, and we're going to keep things nice and loose. So a lot of these questions are for everyone. Some are specifically directed to cast members and crew members. So we'll see how things go. The first one is from Great Siamon. And the question is, why do you believe the Mass Effect series is beloved by so many, even so long after its release? So
I'm
anyone
curious
can jump.
about what the creators of this think. I know
Oh,
my opinion.
great.
I've heard my
Yeah.
opinion. many times. I'm curious what you guys think.
So Patrick, perhaps?
Yeah.
I can take the initial run and then let other people have time to think of smart answers. It's never stopped me before. I think characters. I think we
You're not wrong.
wanted to tell a simple story.
I
good
didn't think anyone
versus
actually be in
evil,
here. Hi,
what
Daniel. Yeah,
makes
you're right. It sucks that Rex isn't here.
humanity great, what makes
Yeah.
people great, and the answer, the answer comes down to friendship and found family and people coming together to triumph over adversity. And it could have been just another kill everything game, but it's a game where you're getting to know people, you're getting
Still a lot of that
to
going on, but-
care about the inner lives of the people you're working with, until at the end you feel like this is really somebody who you'd be willing to lay down your life for. And I think that's really powerful.
I think they achieved that.
Well
said.
yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
You should be a writer.
That's right. You should write some of that stuff down. That's really good.
Like you should be a writer.
Yeah, I mean, just building
I
on
think
that,
about
I
it.
would agree. And I
That's
think
funny.
for us as creators, we work where we do because we really enjoy doing that. And for me, it's magical to see the process from it being ideas in everyone's heads to then our amazing artists start putting features together, and then you all start adding the voices. And when we hear the voices being played back when you first start recording lines, that's when it's real. And it's just amazing. And all of that positive energy that everyone puts into it. I don't know, I'm feeling very positive energy and boo-boo today, but that means something, and you put it into it and players play it, and
Pretty positive day.
it's something real.
Oh, yeah.
And it's something
I'm glad about it.
that really appeals to people, just that genuineness and
On multiple levels.
the
Yes.
love that you put into it. I think it
I
spreads.
really like
man.
Kimberly's
So-
background.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
I'll
Yeah,
say
there's
that this
something-
was one of the first games that first time I ever saw branching dialogue. When they gave me the demo of the game the first day that I went in to record, I thought, oh wow, this is a whole new level of gaming that allows the player not just to be, and we've seen this grow in the last 10 years, of course, to see that the player has real choices and real impacts for the choices that they make. And that's part of what you were saying, Patrick and Karen, about the way it impacts you. You feel like it's a lived experience as opposed to just jumping on a track and running through a thrill ride. And there's nothing against that at all.
Well, there's moments of that
Mass
still,
Effect goes
but
a lot deeper than that. And I sense that in my relationships with fans and with all the community that's built around this game just from the actors.
Yeah, I mean, I as a player and as a huge fan, I agree 100%. There was something very magical about the scope of the narrative and the characters.
Kind of wish Yvonne Strahovski was here too.
Formed.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
everyone that's watching in the audience
That
right
would
now
be
feels the
great.
exact same way. There was there was a magic that happened between
This-
the written word.
this
and
kind of
the
sucks. It's
way
just
the
like that
performances
cast
were
is so
captured that
huge. You
really
can't
made
quite get
for
all
a
your
unique
You
favorites.
can't get everybody in. Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
impossible.
would
I
be
think.
great.
like anything I as a player had ever played before. So it did. It captured lightning in a bottle, which is why
Get
I
some
think
Miranda
we're
love in
still
there.
celebrating in 7 days, so many years later, and everyone still loves you guys, and we want more. So I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Just
I actually thought it'd be really cool if they would have got
outsider's
whoever
perspective, it is,
voiced
something
Dr.
really
Shock
special
was.
and magical.
Yeah.
Comment here.
Shockwass was a cool character.
21601.
Turian
This
Brandy.
is for Jennifer and Mark. He says,
Yes.
I'm from the UK and had a really tough time. And I had to look after my dad from an early age. And the shepherds taught me so much how to be strong and how to keep going and not let anything take my will to fight. They literally saved my life, and I can't thank them enough.
Awesome.
And we got
You really cry.
I know, right? We got so many of these. And so I wanted to say really quickly that I said we got over 1,000 of these in, and I'm going to put them all in a PDF and send them out to you guys just if you want to ever look through them. So even if you're watching and your question doesn't get read, they're still going to have an opportunity to look at all these kind words you guys
Awesome.
said. And there's a lot of them because, like I said, with the story that means so much to so many people, a lot of people are touched very personally by the narrative and by your performances. So it's cool to see. You guys are celebrated on today too. So that's really cool.
I mean, it's really amazing the amount of people that I have had come up to. I'm sure Jennifer has the same experience that have had a really hard time, have been going through a really rough patch, and the game helped them through, whether it was a family matter, whether it was medical problems, things like that. People identified so closely with Shepard and the crew and with the characters, and it let them get through actual problems in their lives. And it's really an honor to have been part of something like that. And it was such a collaborative thing. It was the writers, it was the cast, and ultimately the player as well, because Mass Effect was a game that gave the player agency. It was one of the first games where you had a voiced protagonist.
He's got a hell of a
and that
collection
let you
going on back there.
immerse yourself in Shepard completely.
So beautifully said. I think one of my favorite moments, I believe, I texted this to Caroline and asked her to share it with the team. I was somewhere, maybe Chicago or somewhere at a convention when we did that live. And a woman came up to me. She was in her early 30s, I think, and she had had a stroke. And the way her physiotherapist suggested that she get back her fine motor movements was to learn to game, to get a controller and start learning to work that.
Awesome.
And the game she chose to dive in with was Mass Effect. So she's like, I waited in line to tell you that you guys gave me my ability to move back my body. You healed me. And I was like, oh my God. And the piece that stands out for me, Mark, you said it so beautifully. I'm always reminded when people tell us these stories, like, it's so incredible. First, thank you, because wow, and it is such an honor. And also, you did the work. You did the healing. We gave you a vehicle, but you picked it up and drove it. Like, it's your achievement, and good on you.
Like the Nomad.
Exactly.
That's wonderful stuff. We had another question.
She's a lovely person.
This is
I just adore her. I adore Jennifer Hale.
She's amazing.
In Mass Effect changed how you reflect on the things in your own personal life. So were you at all impacted by the arc of your character's narrative or the work that you did on the series? How did Mass Effect impact you as a human and as an actor or as a writer?
I'll tell you what's interesting for me is the just more specifically as an actor. Because Mass Effect would have been my second big game that I ever did, and prior to that, the games that I did do were usually like Japanese RPGs or whatever, where you get basically an Excel file of just your lines, and even the director is like, "Yes, we think he's angry, we think he might be bored, or he may be going to bed. We're not sure." And so the first time they give you I knew what the scene was. It was, and the fact that it was the emphasis on cinematic acting was so new to me, and I'm like, really? I get to actually go back to what I trained for? And so I would say the biggest impact on me was after having the treat of doing that.
Knowing that this is the guy who's Albert Wesker always blows my mind.
Yeah, that's funny.
I try to be no matter how they try to push us over the top in these other things, I always try to keep it as grounded as possible. And
I got a story about something I got to do with him at a convention that I have to tell you off stream.
Just so I know a little more realness to anybody who got the final product.
So it spoiled you a bit.
Yes.
What about you?
Jack was really special to me because I I relate to her so much, and I had a really hard, I was a tough kid who had a lot of emotional problems, just was angry a lot and had feelings that were too big for me, and was just really angry. And I always sort of, as I got to be an adult, I was always like, oh God, I can't believe what a kind of bad kid I was and how much trouble I caused and everything. And it both from just a personal, emotional perspective allowed me to look back on who I was and who I became, and actually forgive myself and actually celebrate that kid who kind of walked around with her fists up and her chin out, because she helped me become who I became, and she served a purpose. And I really loved that about Jack, that, her arc was that, she still retained those fiery things, but she became an adult and someone who was capable of loving and being loved. And I think that's so important for people who do have, trouble as kids or as teenagers, to give themselves both, agency in who they were, and to be able to look at those things that they learned that were important, and also to kind of thank that person that they maybe aren't anymore for helping them through. And as an actor, I realized that all of those things that I was part of as a kid gave me so much more emotional bandwidth as an actor, that the things that made me weird and angry and just punk rock are the things that I draw on all the time for acting, all the things. So I tell people all the time, like the things that make you weird or an outcast or strange, or people pick on you, or, you know, the fact that you got your hair pulled because it was pink when you were in high school or whatever. I mean, that doesn't happen now anymore, but it did when I had hair, and are the things that are going to be your superpower. Like, to hold them close to you because they will serve you, you know, and I think that was a huge lesson for me, and for me as an actor, and also as a touchstone for me to talk to people who love this game, because that's what I hear all the time is thank you for putting this woman out there. And I thank you guys so much for putting a woman who is not traditionally beautiful and doesn't have the traditionally like Zaftig figure that, you know, is supposed to be so desirable, and is a woman who is fully expressed and is capable of anger and all of these emotions that, you know, so often we didn't actually get to bring to screens. So there's, I mean, I could do my own 2 hours about this, but
No, bravo! I'm not into the microphone. That was beautiful.
That was great. That was well said.
Really quickly, I don't want to cut anyone off.
Courtney.
As I got to know you over the years, I think I first interviewed you, Courtney, like 8 or 9 years ago or something ridiculous like that. I did realize very quickly how much you were like Jack, and I loved that. Instantly just loved you because your personalities were very much like in the best ways, not in like the punch me in the face ways, but you're very much like that. I see a so from Allie.
I love Jack.
Anybody else on this?
Can I build on something that Courtney was just talking about?
Absolutely.
So just as Courtney was talking about how she identifies with Jack, I don't know. I think maybe Ali knows this, maybe Courtney, maybe Jen, maybe I'm not sure about Caroline and everyone else actually. But I have 2 moms and I don't have a dad. And so recording the lines between Sam Trainer, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And it's like I don't think I've ever shared this publicly, and people often ask like, why are you such a big advocate of LGBTQIA+ rights? And I haven't kind of expressly shared, but being raised by 2 women in the 80s was pretty radical.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
represented in a video game in the most like lovingly casual, normal way, like everyone does this, you know. It probably felt it was this strange kind of like, it was so all-encompassingly loving and accepting and amazing. And I remember doing the white picket fence conversation between Sam Trainer and Jen. And I remember crying. And I remember Caroline being on the phone and she was like, are those real tears? Are you really crying? I was like, I just need a moment. And I think that BioWare really, you know, Mass Effect 3 was probably one of the like 4th biggest games I'd done at the time. And it was really trailblazing the way for inclusivity and diversity of races and sexualities and identities. And to put this storyline there between 2 women, but no offense, Mark, just between 2 women. And
Mark is like,
I was kind of going,
he's just like, I get it.
like,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, like she wants to, you know, they want to live together and have a dog and, you know, white picket fence and all the normal stuff that we had, you know. It's like, except we didn't have dogs. We obviously had cats because my mothers were lesbians and lesbians have
That's awesome.
So that felt like a huge
Hilarious
moment for me personally, like representing my mom's journey in a way. Yeah.
So one thing, and I don't remember if Caroline or Karen remember this, but when I was working on the trainer arc, one of the things I did was we had some LGBT folks in the office, and I showed it to one of our gay coworkers, Suzanne, and I said, what is not in here that you would like to be in here? What do you as a lesbian wish were part of this arc? And the white picket fences conversation was what she said she wanted. It wasn't in there in the first draft. And she said, you know, we get the hot girls kissing stuff all the time. We don't get, I would like to have a house. Awesome. I would like to have a white picket fence and a dog and like the domestic stuff. And you know, so it was kind of a last minute thing, but because someone in the office said that's what we want to see, we threw that in, and I'm really glad that it meant something.
It's the implication of family, Patrick. I think that's what we're talking about. You know, we're talking about the implication of family and what that does for not just all the younger people out there playing as these characters and finding themselves and their sexuality in that, but also now, you know, like now my story is not even that interesting anymore. It's like the new normal. It's really depressing, quite frankly. Everyone's got two moms nowadays. You know?
That's ultimately what everybody wants, is just to be normal. And like, it doesn't have to be that your story is the same as everybody else, but that you can say like, that it's actually, this was such a huge thing to make things unremarkable, because that's what they should be. It doesn't matter who you love. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter, you know, all of these things are just, it's just options.
Yeah.
Luckily, Ashley, the space racist, learned that lesson. I was like,
space racist.
I can't believe you actually said it.
It also authenticity, right?
That's awesome.
The authenticity.
She had to know. That's what everyone
She's
said.
on it. She knows.
The core of what people really clung to with these games. I feel like everybody out there, all you guys, would raise your hand when we say, you know, everything about that game was authentic. Everything was justified. There's so many times in games, especially, but you know, all across, you know, the acting world, we actors deal with things that just don't seem justified. They don't seem tangible. They don't seem real. We kind of have to roll with it, and you know, our directors help us through. But in this case, and with these games, just everything was so authentic and so real, and we could tell that everybody behind the scenes was doing their homework and doing what they needed to do to create these relationships that had the texture and had the reality and they were grounded. And I believe that's really what made the difference, you know, with you guys and the writing incredible and Caroline guiding us through. And when something seemed we were questioning something or didn't understand why, it was so amazing that you guys were always on hand. Patrick, Karen, everybody was always on hand to ask a question, you know, and Caroline and I would say, you know, let's hold off a second and ask these guys and make sure. And I think that's what a lot of people who play the games over and over cling to, is that reality and the relationships and the excitement to play again with new characters. Although I'd appreciate it if you'd stick to blue babies. Yeah. And that's one thing.
Interspecies snorkeling.
Right? That's one thing that I think that sticks out to me just listening to you guys and this whole experience. And I don't know what the word is, because there was more than humanity obviously involved, but there was so much honoring everyone's humanity or speciesality.
Yeah, there's definitely the whole mentality of we're all in this together, and if we don't figure it out, we're all kind of screwed. Which is you know, it's a sad message, but it's true, and it's kind of one that's unfortunately reflected in modern society these days. I love your answer.
Game was ahead of its time for that.
Yeah, I was just watching and just like joyously listening.
I mean, it was of its time.
I have a question from Tyler Boyce, which kind of it's directed toward Karen and Patrick. It says, what do you look for in writers or narrative designers when it comes to Mass Effect? How can you tell in someone's resume, portfolio, et cetera, that they have the right stuff? So what is it about writing a game as robust as this that is that you, not that you're looking to hire, but what is it that you guys look for in a teammate?
I would say it's a little hard to tell from a resume right off. I mean, technically, we are excited about people who are familiar, you know, play enough games, they're familiar with branching narrative, because that is the thing that makes writing for these kinds of games really different from any other kind of writing, is being able to construct the words and the stories in little branches and bubbles and just be able to technically keep up with that. A lot of our writers come from either playwriting or screenwriting backgrounds. So I think the ability to, as you all were saying, connect with the characters and figure out, it's when you're writing, how to write a line that is conveying information that is absolutely contrived and written and sculpted in a very specific way, but makes it sound very natural. And that's where, Caroline is a huge part of this process, because she will very politely and kindly say, humans can't say this. These words don't work that way. And so she really helps to craft those lines and to, make suggestions about how, what we're trying to say, how the words can come out, and how you all can be given the best tools to express that. So I don't
think Garrus is there either.
Understand.
Yeah.
Who are really good at writing dialogue and using dialogue to convey not only plot points and go there and kill that person, but good, emotional, how to make emotional
for the main game,
connections
they've got,
between the
from
feelings
the
and the
first
words
main
that
game
are
at least,
coming
they've
out
got
of
both the
mouths of
shepherds,
pixels.
Allie,
Good answer.
and
I would
Kim.
agree with all of that. The other thing I would add is that our games are games about voices and characters, and a lot of what we look for in a writer is two things that on the surface are very different. We look for someone who can bring a unique voice, who can write with a unique style. Chris Latoile, the writer who did the original writing for both Thane and Legion, for example, they have such unique voices, and DC and Keith, you brought them to life in such a fantastic way. And then sort of the counterintuitive flip side of that is that also, because it's such a team process, because I was one of between 5 and 10 writers on each Mass Effect game, and Karen was one of, I think, 3 editors, 4. So yeah, the ability to blend in with that voice so that Shepard always sounds like Shepard and not Patrick's Shepard or Drew's Shepard or Chris's Shepard, because there are times when I as Patrick would have to write a Thane line, and I have to be able to, I will never do it as well as the original writer, but I have to be able to mimic that voice so that the character sounds consistent. And our ability to do that well enough that the voice actors, with Caroline's direction, can bring that home and make it sound authentic. That's one of the important parts about making the game feel consistent.
I would say also a great thing about that is, the further we went and the more you all got used to your characters, the more you would call us on times when we screwed that up, and you'd say,
the character's better than anybody else.
That. I don't think, you're absolutely right. And so that for me was really exciting. The more games we did, was just everybody understanding these characters so well that it was sort of like you could speak the language of your character, and even
a collaborative process.
That was
much appreciated. You got to think how many lines they do per game. They're kind of like,
good, right?
Oh yeah,
every variation. I know this
write
person.
A lot and get very good at
yeah,
it.
totally.
Find your voice, right?
Absolutely.
Find your voice as a writer and be able to collaborate, right? That's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
It's actually a good segue. We have a question from BioJim for DC. He says, how challenging was it to bring emotion to a character that was just discovering that he could experience emotion?
Oh, well, for an actor like me, it was very easy. No. What was interesting about it was was getting the audition. I think the first time it was an audition that I knew that it was for that character, because they did it around earlier that it was disguised as something else that was very military. But the second time, they sent basically, oh God, what was it? It was a memorial speech or a requiem speech at someone's funeral, and so they wanted. So it was to have the emotion of somebody speaking at that, but also that you're also a robot. So they wanted something in between Hal and
that's interesting.
This other thing. I can't remember the breakdown of the character. But once you kind of like find that middle line, it's actually sorry, I've had coffee and no food, so I'm.
It's all good. I'm there with you.
Essentially, when you're a young actor and you first go, for me, what I noticed with the people that I studied with back in the 80s and we started in these lower classes, trying, really just emoting as much as we could with these characters. And then at one point along the process, the learning process, a click happens, and all of a sudden you stop working. You stop working at it, and it's just all of a sudden everything becomes easy. I mean, granted, there's always going to be emotional challenges, but there's the general idea of like when you switch over from trying to be an actor to being an actor, and now you still get all that other growth, but it's just a switch. And that's what kind of like doing Legion is that there's in that dialogue that in that middle road that you're supposed to go, it's just turn the switch off. It's an easy thing. And for me, basically, it was wake up, clear my throat, and have some coffee, and then I went to work.
There you go. That's great.
And the direction, by the way. Well, obviously the writing, direction as well was really important in all of that.
Like this is that moment. Like, I mean, Caroline, like without voice directors, what we do is just not as good. It's just not as good. Like, we're skilled, but we're like, I've got 10 forks. Let me try to make something. They're like, no. Let me just give you a fork and go, oh, that's better.
Yeah. It's funny. I've interviewed a lot of these guys over the past 10 years, and Caroline, they all talk about you like you're Gandalf the White coming over the hill. Like in the middle of Caroline said this to me, and it all made sense. You're so modest. You're shaking your head. No.
Alex.
No.
Alex wanted to say things, but after you talk, Alex, I have a brief Caroline story.
No. Well, I was just going to say that the other thing about Caroline that's so brilliant is, I'm not allowed to swear, is you're very, very, very funny. And so you're in a session with you for like 4 hours, and in London booths ain't like LA booths, my loves. Okay, London booths are like here, and you're like, yeah, like,
that's funny.
Toothbrushes, what?
She's great.
And you
She's
get
awesome.
and you're sweaty, and then I'm crying because of the lesbians. And it's
Alex is great.
She's like, you're doing great. Honestly, like, I don't think Patrick was feeling well when he wrote this scene. It's not you.
Jeez, she just like
Wow.
fully went into American accent right there.
So funny.
That was great. Damn, she's good.
Emotionally tuned into
She's
us.
so good.
Just make the job a lot more joyous. So please accept this.
You,
Yes.
yeah, you were like, Caroline. I mean, Caroline was able to be with us in person for many of the early pieces of Mass Effect, and then as you get going, especially as you get closer to deadline, she would need to be in Edmonton and would Skype in.
Yeah, that's right.
But she was always like the steady voice of reason. She would always get it done. And there were 2 stories that stand out for me. One was the day, Caroline, I think, I always asked what the count was. When I walk in, I'm like, what's the count? Because I needed to know how much time we had to chit chat, because I love everybody so much. I just want to visit, but I'm like, we get a high count. There's not a lot of chit chat, and there's very short pee breaks. I just need to know how to frame my day and how to manage my energy.
Jen, for people who don't know what that means, the count. Explain what the count is to the people who don't know what that means.
How many lines we have to get done that day.
Right.
Thank you, Bill. You're right.
In a certain amount of time.
In a certain amount of time. Yeah, we had 4 hours, and I have to pee at some point. I got to refill my water. I got to make tea. Okay. And I love these people. I want to know how they are, And so one day I walked in and I was like, what's the count? She goes, oh. And I said, well, what is it? And I'm a little competitive with myself. Now, I don't believe in competition among other people, but for myself, I'm like, okay, what is it? So she goes, well, it's high. And I said, what? And she says, well, Steve, she said I think it was like 563 or something like that. And I said, oh. And she goes, yeah, Steve doesn't think he can do it. And I was like, what? And I was like, let's go. I don't need to know how anybody is. Let's go.
And for people who aren't good at math, including me, that's you got to think about, that's in 4 hours, guys. So that's like, is it 2 lines a minute?
Yeah.
Which you think is not, where you're like, 2 lines a minute, whatever. But that's people listening back. That's you making adjustments and stuff like that.
ABC.
So
That never stops.
Crazy.
For 4 hours. That's
she's
nuts.
A master. Masters.
Fortunately, it was short stuff. It was like DLC. It was Citadel.
This is a job I want in the future. Hearing this stuff, I'm like,
100 lines, 4 hours. It's
nice guy.
And like Troy Baker does this, and he's an avid smoker. I'm like, how do you do this?
Like hearing down.
I don't know, man.
This edge from Jen, which was like, did someone say
I can't do that. And then there was just no stopping. I've never surpassed.
She would be
that
the
line.
ultimate
That's
soccer
so
mom cheering her
ridiculous.
kids on.
Yes, completely.
It was hell bent. It was happening.
You know, don't tell me I can't, because then I have to, even if I don't want to. You know?
Exactly.
I love that so much. That actually segues pretty good into a question we had for Caroline. Let me find it. This is from Tom the Builder. He says, how does one even begin to tackle VO direction on a huge title like Mass Effect or Dragon Age? How do you keep consistency and tone when things are recorded out of order over such a long period of time?
I can't even imagine that.
Good question.
Thick question. I mean, as far as consistency goes, that's all writing and editing. Like they know the voices, they know the story so completely.
She's got a great Mass Effect 2 shot in the background. Did you see that?
Yes.
Just for me, I just have to consume as much as I can. Like I try to let it like rain on me. I watch as much as I can. I read as much as I can. But there are often times in the booth where I'm like, I don't know where this scene is being held. And sometimes it's like, okay, I'm going to make something up on the spot here because I'm not 100% sure. And sometimes it's a shot in the dark. I mean, 40,000 lines of dialogue, it's a bit trippy. So I really do have to rely on the editors and the writers. They give situation synopses at the top of the scene. And also, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the actors are like, oh, no. Like Mark was really good with that. No, Cab. This happened on Eden Prime. They're referring back to, you would know, like which plot it was referring back to. Oh no, that was in Mass Effect 1. And I'm recording Mass Effect 3. Remember that.
That's awesome.
It's such a collaboration. Like I rely heavily on so many people. And
if I was taking on something that big, I would have the lines that I did memorize like the Bible.
I'm shocked and scandalized to hear that because you were my rock. I was depending on you the entire time.
That's I have to say that about you, Mark. Like we've had the good fortune to work together on a couple of things, and we did that lovely the thing. What's the name of the thing that's airing after this? I can't remember what it's called.
Omniblades in the dark.
Omniblades in the dark. Yes. I'm constantly so impressed by your brain and by your sheer intelligence and your mastery of detail and comedy and everything else. Like it's just beautiful to watch. Anyway, just had to shout that out.
Oh no, please go on, Jim. I think we have another hour or so.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. Let's talk about Mark.
Talk to each other because they're near each other on my screen. I'm like, oh no.
I know. Like, this is so cool to watch.
One thing in Mass Effect I wish we could have had more of was Mark and Jennifer talking to each other.
Well, I always thought that in the Citadel DLC, you could have. I think actually when I went,
we could have gender flipped the clone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
When I went into the booth to record with Caroline that day, I was just like, oh, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea if like they switched the chromosomes on the clones? So
yes, we were just saying that.
Female shepherd clone, female shepherd would fight a male shepherd clone.
Would have been so
and
good.
Yes.
was like, that's a great idea. We need to record this because this...
Mere shortening.
And they're like, practically, we can't.
I'd like to put out that challenge. I've done this at conventions before, and no one has taken me up on it yet. But some talented fan with access to the Citadel DLC and editing,
mod it.
Oh yeah, mod it in.
Mod it in.
Please.
Can you imagine if eventually they're like, hey,
the chat to see
Legendary
who's gonna
Edition
do it.
DLC.
Yeah, it'll be done by midnight. You
Flip
know how
'em.
internet works these days. It's already
nuts.
in the works. It's a good answer, guys. This question is for William. It's from someone named Martin. We're getting into the dark side of Mass Effect. Do you like the way Morden's story ended?
Ooh, yeah, because it was wonderful to be able to play that. And that kind of loops back. I also have my Carolyn story.
I know.
And a lot of people don't know. I didn't create the role of Morton Solus, and I'm probably the luckiest person that's on the screen right now because I got to come in late to something that is amazing, and I was allowed to find Caroline let me find my way to where I needed to be emotionally to play that final scene. And it was one of the most moving things I've ever gotten to do personally for a piece of interactive art. So yeah, I was pretty happy with how it ended.
Oh, it was a different voice
Well,
actor in Mass Effect
that
2.
calls something to mind. If I could just share this for a second.
It was Michael Beatty. Beatty?
Go into our
You did a real
profession
good
for
job
variety of
copying the voice, because
reasons.
I never knew that
I
was
think the
different.
holy
Yeah,
grail
I didn't know either. No
space
idea.
where we can fully stand in our humanity, calling on the absolute best of ourselves. Jesus,
That's one thing I'm going to be paying attention to
calling
when I
on
play the
absolute
games
best
through.
of ourselves, whether it's the best villain or the best, traitor or the best hero or the best machine, and bring that forth. And this is one of those beautiful, gorgeous, shiny, metallic, kick-ass unicorns that lets us do that to the fullest. And
Metallic
it's
kick-ass unicorn.
eternal.
That's what I want my band name to be.
Totally, I have goosebumps now. Like I'm sure a lot of people watching at home too. Sometimes, Jennifer, when I talk to you, the line, because I've played the game so many times like a maniac, the line between Shepard and you blurs, because you're also very inspirational and you motivate people a lot and have a lot of very strong, powerful things to say. And I'm sure everyone at home appreciates that as well. So thanks.
The other thing, Bill, that you did so well, and which was I didn't realize how much I was asking for, and it was amazing how well you were able to run with it, is Morden is a character where in one line I'm asking you to do biological technobabble. You got to talk about telomeres and chromosome garbage DNA attachment and stuff, and you have to get through that line as and sound like you know what you're talking about when the person who write it doesn't know what they were talking about.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Patrick. Earlier, when everybody was talking about what their characters meant to them, I've always been a kind of a secret science nerd. And so, that's one of the things where every once in a while I find myself thinking, well, if I hadn't become an actor, maybe.
Right? Yeah. If I had done slightly better in hum bio.
Yeah, exactly.
in that one course in university. But yeah, like expecting you to be able to deliver those lines and then just break our hearts in the next one. That going from techno to
that blows my mind that there were different voice actors.
And you
I
did
know,
it
right?
so gracefully. And I really appreciated that. There is something.
I wonder what his version of the Scientist Solarian song would sound like.
No,
well,
that I can
technically he sings it.
Throw something like that.
But not in 3, in 2.
No, he sings it in 3 right as it's blowing
Oh, he
up.
sings it in 3 as he's that's
and then
true.
the third line will break people's hearts. Go.
I'm tempted to play through those games right now, just
yeah,
to try and get
I hope I don't have
scenes.
to tell you.
Just play a little bit of my load
together,
saves.
you and Karen and I, a long time ago, and if I didn't say it then, I'll say it again. It was a real treat to say your words.
I wonder what happened.
Am I out of line? I just looked at the chat, and there's this repeated request that keeps happening. Bill, I'm going to guess that you can maybe think what it is.
Oh yeah,
please.
I know.
Please.
The line or the song? It's the line of the song.
It's either the line or the song, yeah.
Let's see. Well,
that's hard to do on the spot.
I thought it might come up.
I'll be down in the text
Are they
file.
asking for Scientist Solarian? Is that what it is, or?
I think either or is fine. Everyone will be elated with either.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
I haven't done this in a long time. Bear with me. And like DC,
it's gonna come out like perfect.
A lot of coffee and not much food.
These guys are awesome.
Oh my gosh.
And the
I
very model of
love
a scientist
Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asarian, Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subject of subset of biology because I am an expert, which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
That was awesome. That was amazing.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
I would be so nervous
It's
if
my
I was
pleasure.
doing
And
this.
actually,
That is so nerve-wracking. Yeah, man. He nailed it.
I did a lot of community theater, and I was in a group that did a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan. So I always claim credit for the Barbarian song, even though I had actually nothing to do with it. I opened that door for Patrick. So
The world thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think we got that request, I would say almost more than any
1,000
other.
times.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all.
So
Other than
That's why she
Mark
like started him off with the song too. She knows it so well.
Hearing Mark Mears say "We'll bang okay" was the other one.
Gosh, no, thank you,
Oh
guys.
yes.
Do it again after so long.
That's wonderful.
His delivery on that.
Steve says, Grunt has a childlike personality. Was that hard to portray while also
Steve
portraying
Bloom.
a powerful and confident soldier?
This would be the first thing he said.
I know.
Oh, mute.
Hello?
We
The
got,
mic.
there you go.
Turn your mic on.
Wasn't a problem at all. I'm emotionally stunted. Tank bread. No, it was a great character to play. I've
Listen to that voice, man.
sort of opposite of that, sort of mushy on the outside and a little more fighty on the inside.
Oh, he
So it's
sounds so
kinda
good.
nice to
He's such a
reverse
nice
that
dude
out
in
and
person.
try
I
that
know
out.
he is.
Felt like it was really fun.
I got to meet
When
him.
I met him, immediately I was
Easy
like,
for me.
I'm not very good at
Easy
taking
for you.
selfies. He's like, you don't gotta
Was
be.
it-
He took
so,
my phone
I
right
mean,
out of my
yeah,
hand.
so-
Snap the
Long
picture
time.
for me.
Such a
I
massive
know he did that too. He did that for me too.
lifetime. What was it when you read this part? Was there something that were you gravitated toward the series itself, or did you enjoy the writing? What was it about taking this part that was special to you?
I enjoyed having a job.
I
I didn't know what to expect in this. And
Jobs are good.
Yeah,
Yes.
jobs are good. Yeah. I'm not a gamer. And so I had no idea what I was getting into. And for me, it was just this massive pile of paper with 500 words to go through in one day. And then they showed me the image of Grunt, and the words were so good. And I just got lost in the story and I just ran with it, not knowing anything, which is the way I've led most of my life. It was kind of,
After this, I
It's-
need to
Grunt was
send
kind of
you
perfect,
a
Garrett.
video clip of what Leron
That's so much
Littner
fun.
sounds like from Gurren
Thank you.
Lagann. And
This
when
next
you
question is
hear it, you
from
will
Paul
not believe
Gilham.
it's Steve Bloom.
Is for Jennifer, Allie, Courtney, Kimberly.
know I've heard him do like Green Goblin and all that too. So it's like, and Starscream,
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's just completely different.
In this case,
Oh, yeah.
in the series, do you feel any sense of progress in how women are portrayed in video games from the scripts, and how much?
Good question.
Oh my God. I mean, this was, I spent my whole life, I wouldn't say beating my head, because I took my steel-toed boot and kicked the glass ceiling over and over and over because I don't believe in it. It just is illogical to me.
I love her so
I
much.
used to hear when I first started in LA, and then we get commercial copy. I'd say, "Can I read the announcer?" And they'd say they want a dude. And I'd say, "Can I read the announcer?" And I'm like, "You can just throw it away. You don't have to send it. Just let me audition."
Yep.
And eventually they did. And then eventually it got to the point where I did an enormous amount of commercials. And then now, and that was part of that wave where women are now everywhere. And being a part of this game that has now created the expectation.
He's also
that
been
there
very
be
big in
a
getting
female
rights for
player
voice
character.
actors and stuff like
Duh.
that. when they were
Yes,
trying to
yes.
It's
unionize
one of the
and stuff.
greatest things of my life. I feel like, oh, holy crap, that I got to be in that seat and do that. Casey Hudson, who is our glorious loving overlord, is not here right now, but he is, my experience of him is that he's a more reserved person who doesn't seek attention. And we were at GameStop at midnight on a Saturday at the release of Mass Effect 3.
Mhm.
And I had heard,
I watched
because
that. I watched
I'm
that
looking at
live.
the camera, all you guys out there really pushed the honoring of FemShep as well as Broshep, male Shep. And
Broshep,
everybody at
that's a name I
BioWare
like.
listened and put FemShep on the box. And when somebody dropped that, my
Yes.
goodness. When somebody dropped that first box in front of me, I was like this. And I stood up on the table, a la what's his name in that movie, and held it over my head. And I screamed at Casey Hudson over the crowd, "Casey Hudson, thank you!" Oh, God, make her stop.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
But it was a divine moment. And this game did that. This game finally was the moment when the boot crashed through the glass. And it's glorious. And it's not my boot. It's it's a boot happened to be on my foot, powered by millions of women, and decades or centuries of desire. And I'm insane. And men right beside them pushing for the same. And that's like, so that was my experience.
Wow. Well, I think that things have definitely changed for the better. For roles for women of color, brown and black women. So I'm excited about all of that because I've noticed, especially since I don't know, just this year, one good thing that's come out of 2020.
Man, Ashley is her natural voice.
Is just
It
this
is.
and this
Nice.
awareness.
I love that.
I think she voiced Batgirl, right? In the Arkham games.
Yeah, I think she did every game, but I believe they
the
changed
lack
it
of
in Arkham
So
Knight.
I feel like the copy I've been getting sent for auditions
But yeah, she
has
also
just
did
been
Batgirl
drastically
in
changing.
Injustice
I'm
also.
seeing it change before my eyes. More and more roles for me, really. So it's really exciting. And I think Ashley was just always such a strong character, and I felt very badass playing her, and I felt very lucky and privileged to get voice that role. I felt like this was something important at the time. So it's just, I don't know, it's exciting to be a part of it. And I missed the very beginning. There's going to be a remastered.
Oh, right.
She doesn't even know.
Is that like for the ones we did, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sorry.
I love it. She's like,
remastering
"What's
the
going
first
on?"
3 and then putting them
She's
out.
like, what? I missed the news.
We're made in this century can play them.
Oh,
say sarcastically, but yes, they're updated so that they're playable on modern consoles.
Okay, so that's really cool. So now people, to get back to what we were saying, I just am excited that that's going to be a new way to see these characters that that we've gotten.
My excitement for that is bordering the same as the Horizon sequel, and that's not an easy feat. And it's a game trilogy I've already played.
Commitment.
I know. Before you go, can I say one thing? I didn't work on Mass Effect 1. I was working on Dragon Age Origins, and so I started seeing little bits. And you're the first character, the first female character that I saw when I was, in the studio.
Wow.
And I heard you talking, and I was just like, oh, she kicks ass. And it was so inspiring and so fabulous. And so I just wanted to thank you for that, because that for me, you haven't been working at BioWare that long, and I heard your voice and I saw that character, and I was
One
like,
thing I wonder about
this is
Ashley,
cool. And it really did kind
if they're
of
going to
change
do some
everything. It was
textures
one
and
of
change some
those
things, you
changes
think they'll
everything
change her
moments.
hair
So
model to
thank
make
you
her
so
look
much.
like her
Thank you
3
so
version?
much, and it's the same for me,
Maybe.
right back at you. I mean, it just changed.
I wonder though, because that's kind of a vital part of her development. I feel like
so much
just
love.
like that visual change.
Or a little bit.
Yeah,
like, I
Because she
played
goes from being a soldier and being all high and tight and like
Right.
super hardcore
in general.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
to
it's
becoming more like,
life changing for me. So it's been a really
Ashley develops as a character, which is interesting. She starts off
future, but I'm
Starts
so
off
sorry to
as
cut
like
out
a space racist.
So glad you
yeah,
could hear.
but then she
so
grows
much.
as a character.
Oh yeah, she grows as a great
That's
person.
one of the great things about the trilogy.
All right, take
She
care,
starts to
everybody.
fight for
Love you.
everybody, which is
Bye.
great.
Just to touch
Oh,
on
bye, Kimberly.
Hi,
I think that
we're
not
awesome.
only did this game change how like women are seen, like so many of us have benefited in the fact that a female player character is the norm now, that it's expected, and not only females now, but people who are LGBTQ player characters, that you can be whoever you are or whoever you are not. And I think that's so incredible, because I think this game changed that in across the board about empathy to people who are not like you, and the opportunity to play someone. Because I've talked to so many gamers who say, I'll always ask them, obviously, I was female player in Fallout, but I always ask because I'm like, well, who did you play? And I'm always so interested to hear in these big franchises that so many men ended up playing the female character. And I think that's so important to bring everybody along together, so that you can step into the shoes of someone you are
so
not.
bad for Mark partially in all of
and
this.
that will change how you treat people.
You know what though? He's probably all for it.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
Representation is important. It's important for kids to see women who are not like portrayed
I've got
in the
female
same
friends that
way
played
all
as
the
Shepard as
time,
well.
that we are not
Yeah,
blood
absolutely.
Male
dogs,
Shepard,
we're
I
not
should say.
porn stars, that we do not, not all snipers have huge boobs and bikini tops. Things
Wow. Oh, shade.
Reference. Holy
Kojima.
and so many things, both
Oh, yeah, it's both
personally
quiet as
and
well.
universally, for how much money we make, the kinds of roles we get to
Oh, yeah.
play,
Yeah. You're right
how
about
women
that.
are perceived on so many levels. And I think it was really the first game to do that, and it will be forever that. And also, I got to meet some of the most incredible women working on this game. I mean, these are my friends for life that I didn't know until I worked on this game. I remember meeting Allie Hillis, and the night of the Mass Effect 3 drop, and her being like, "Let me give you my number. Like, let's hang out." And I was just like, "Oh my God, this girl is nothing like me." But we became amazing friends. And Jennifer Hale, who was like, my like she's the shit. And like this game brought me together with her. And Alex, I go to England, and I have this friend for life, and seeing all of you guys at conventions and people I knew beforehand, but now we have this bond. We're like a club.
Yeah. You are the crew.
We're family. We are we're a
That's
kind of
wonderful.
family.
And that's
Yeah.
very special, and it's something you don't
I just
see
wish
on a
Janet
lot of
was there.
projects, especially that have been around this long. People keeping in touch and having the amount of love that they have for one another. It's really special, and I think everyone watching at home is pretty aware of how rare and special it is. And it's really, really cool for people at home to be able to see the actors that portray the characters they love have this much genuine love and affection for one another, because a lot of times actors on projects don't even meet in games. It's just not really what happens most of the time. So it's a really cool, special thing. So
well, and part of that is because of the success of the game, right? Because it just continues, and here it is now being reinvented once again. It's just sort of like coming for the next generation, and we've been able to travel the world and connect with one another, and just to piggyback on what you said, Courtney, which is what this is the writing, this is the BioWare team, but I was always amazed that this game had brought more women into gaming than any other game until it had arrived, which always just moved the heck out of me, and obviously that's just grown and grown and grown. Was that the intent? I wonder. I mean, or was that just sort of a something that kind of had was a byproduct of what you've done? I wonder about that.
Well, one thing that it's funny, I would love to take credit for this, but I don't know how much any writer or any of the Mass Effect devs were really thinking about this. But one thing that has really struck me about all of the characters, but especially the female characters in Mass Effect, is they're allowed to be flawed in ways that female characters aren't always allowed to be flawed. They don't have acceptable girly flaws. Jack is angry, and Tali is racist against the Geths. She has problems, and Ash Williams is a military, is a career soldier who also has some issues because of her past. And those are things that in a lot of cases, women don't always see that as something they're allowed to have as a character flaw. And, getting to see Liara go through a dark patch in Mass Effect 2 and lose a lot of her softness and then kind of have to grow stronger through that.
Yep.
I'm not proud of it.
That was a cool.
That wasn't me. It was kind of everything, and it just happened. But I really think that changed some things for the better, and maybe helped open some doors that way.
Yeah, I could.
Can I actually just ask? Can I be Ash and ask you a question just to follow up? Because I'm just so curious about this. It's just because I've heard, and perhaps you've heard this reference, but I'm just so curious from your point of view that Mass Effect is or was the the Star Wars of video games, as it were. Like there's that.
I would concur with that.
And then there's Star Wars, and then there's everything else. That was somehow a marker of how then everything changed after that. Have you heard that? What do you think about that? You know, what's your? I mean, it's a big mantle to carry, obviously, but
It's got as much lore.
Yeah, sense of that.
I don't know, and like Patrick, like I didn't come onto the franchise until it was already rolling. And I mean, in one sense, we're just, up here in the snow and the dark, typing away and doing our things and just trying to make as good a game as we can. Yet when you step back and you talk to people and you hear about it and you realize, oh yeah, this is kind of a thing and people like it. And I mean, one thing I'm grateful for is, Mark mentioned earlier that it was one of the first games to have voiced protagonists. So that was a big deal and a big expensive deal for a lot of games. And, BioWare's protagonist had, traditionally up to that point been, you could choose male, female, and so that was an important cornerstone, but it was a big expensive commitment to make for the studio to decide, yes, we're going to record it and we are going to record it with the option of having male or female characters. And just that was the foundation that it was laid on. Like that was a big deal in the industry. And so you do have that sense that, oh, okay, this is something that the people I'm working with, that our leaders feel is important enough to invest in. And so I think that does give you a sense that oh God, I hope it works. Because at that time, it was a risk in the industry. Oh, women don't play games, women, and so it was a risk that the pretty much entirely male leadership of the studio at that point decided was important enough to do, and so that does set up an expectation that, okay, we need to make this good. However it does, we are committed to doing this diversity to making this diversity happen in a coherent way, hopefully, and in a way that means things to people. So I would say not necessarily at the time, but as it goes and we have the joy of interacting with fans and people who have played it, it's really humbling to be a part of something that means so much to so many people.
I also think it's, again, they bring, we have me and Caroline and Karen here, and it makes it seem like I'm the writer. I was one of so many, again, 5 to 10, and I was the junior baby writer on Mass Effect 1. I had just gotten to the studio, and Mac Walters fell down a flight of stairs and messed up his back, and they pulled me over from another project while Mac was healing.
What? Fell down, Patrick.
Wow.
Fell down.
I was
funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How they bring me over.
What did you put on that step? Right?
Nothing. It's fine.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
I will say Mac was very understanding when Patrick fell down the ice and shattered shattered their shoulder during Mass Effect 2. That was very understanding.
Like, yeah, we've been with it. But I came over and I was like, I have all these ideas. And, on Mass Effect 1, my job was giving people things to talk about in the elevators to cover load, because it was the first time.
Oh, those elevator load screens.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And so when people took the elevator from one part of the Citadel to another, there was this long load we had about, and they said, Patrick, just give the followers something to talk about with each other. And I was just throwing stuff.
It's like the conversations in the Nomad in Andromeda. I love those.
And I think,
yeah,
to an extent, we all were. We were all these young people pushing on something heavy together, not knowing whether we were going to move it, not knowing whether we were going to get the rock up a hill. This just become a Sisyphean metaphor, and I don't really mean it as one. But I think it's not until you stop and then look away and go, oh my God, we moved that. Oh my God, we made that together. That's when you can really feel proud of it. But at the time, we were a big team pulling together, going, I don't know, is this working? I don't know, let's find out.
You just described the whole journey of the story.
Right.
You were living the story in different context or content, but the context is the same.
What do you think, Caroline, if you don't mind me calling you out? I'm very interested in your perspective on this, because you've been here since the beginning. And what do you think?
I I am sitting here trying to wrap my head around it and what our jobs are in the entertainment industry. And it's not so much that we should be projecting what we see in society, but maybe what we want to see in society. And I think that is something, and like Patrick was saying, I don't think anyone thought about that. It was like, well, let's have a female protagonist. Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't we do that? That makes sense. So yeah, I'm thinking a lot about that, and especially now during this time. But how do we want in the entertainment industry to support society to be better?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That was all over the place. But
No, that's a great answer.
You know, you just reminded me of this. Oh, Alex, you go ahead, and then I'll
No, I wanted to add a little something about this, because I agree with what Jen's saying about representation of women, and I agree with what everyone said. But I also think what's really interesting, I'm just going to be a little bit controversial here, because that's what I do. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that. But what I've realized is it also comes down a hell of a lot of the time, and it's a little bit sad actually. It doesn't come down to the actors or the directors or the editors or the writers. It comes down to the marketing team. And a lot of stuff, I'm not going to name any names because it's all been over the press this year, about really big game companies who aren't pushing their female protagonist forward, and therefore she doesn't get equal publicity or equal airtime, even though she has the same journey as the
much
male
other than Horizon.
protagonist. And that's just really sucky. And like, you know, I don't actually know the FemShep, male Shep covers, but like the Inquisitor was completely like, you didn't know, androgynous. You didn't know if it was a man or a woman on the cover.
That
And
kinda
that was one of the
irritated me.
reasons why it worked so well, you know, because it was the image like that. And I just think, like, I look at some of the
Took them
marketing
that long to
stats
finally do
sometimes,
it.
I just think, I really do wonder whether the marketing team knows what it feels like to be the actress that has spent the same amount of time in the voice booth as the man, often trying to copy the man's time codes if you have to deliver a line within a time code, possibly paid less than the man, but you're still like, I've done the job, I've done the story, it's going to be something different, you know. And then you see the images, you see the press, you see it on TV, you see it on the side of buses, you see it on the posters.
If you've not
in
played
town,
Inquisition Keona,
and
you
there
seriously
is
should.
just
Yeah.
nothing about the female player character.
All
And
the
I can
backstory
only
you need to
speak
know
as an
about the other games.
actress
If you haven't played them,
here,
you'll learn it
but
in that game.
is
Okay.
You know, I've been in that position. I've got other friends who've been in that
Yeah, I
position.
haven't really touched the Dragon Age series all that much.
And
position.
she's the
And,
main
like,
female Inquisitor,
marketing
and she
really needs
does.
to kind of step up now, you know?
Yeah,
Alex.
Thing I think that
she's the
BioWare did
she's
with this is
the
they took
basically
on,
the,
they
the
listened, they
female
took it, and
shepherd of that series.
they took the risk.
least-
Oh,
and
awesome.
that goes back
Yeah,
to the point
she's
that what
awesome at it.
Caroline had
Oh,
said
she's
reminds me
she's
of, which is
yeah.
people
Kick it out of the park,
become
man.
who you speak to them as. When you speak to them like they're ready for this, when you speak to them like this is, when you speak to the world like this is what I want, this is who we are, then we become that. You know, we've seen both the downside and the upside of that, and that's
Yeah, we sure have.
me right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Twitter, which is that what you focus on grows, and focus means what you discuss, what you think about, what you look to, what you retweet, what you repost, like that's going to grow. So keep your hand, be mindful. You have power in these hands. Don't use it to strike things and amplify what you hate. Definitely call out what isn't working and then spend 4 times the energy on what you do want, because it is a property of physics, and it is, we all are powerful creators. Every one of us, every one of you people watching, every one of us people here, like it is a truth, and we see it in this game. We see what got created by the intention of a group of people, and the wave that got started, and the desire that it met, and the need that it filled was beautiful. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We have so many more questions, and I want to blow through a handful more before we do some line readings, which I'm incredibly excited about. But we got one that kind of ties into what we were talking about from Alenko. This is for Karen, Patrick, and Raphael. He says that Caden is kind of known for his random comments in Mass Effect 1. improvised, or were they already written?
Random comments.
Because I need to
Yeah.
thank whoever was responsible. Were those Patrick writing elevator moments? Is my question. So where did like a lot of Caden's quirks come from? Does anyone remember? Because he did say so many random things. Especially
They weren't improvised. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, obviously they, kind of captured sort of this sense of kind of what, how would you describe it? I don't know, just sort of, I'm a rebel and I can say what I want to say, I guess, or, and just kind of what's in my head, as it were, from that point of view. But I what seems effortless and like it just happened naturally is a collaborative effort between Caroline and Patrick and everyone and Karen in terms of making it just flow and actually make it seem like it was just happened by accident.
Just you being a strange guy, when in fact it was a strange guy writing. It's fantastic. I mean, that's,
Right. Well
that's the
said.
thing that's wonderful about this. Oh my gosh, sorry, my phone is typing things by itself. This is what's wonderful about the series is that the people that are playing the game can't tell because it all feels so natural, so beautifully written that it feels like actual
His phone was typing things.
characters would
Yeah.
have with one another in an elevator, and it just feels like a very real situation to be in, and that kind of harkens back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier. It's just it's so well written that is why we're all here today still talking about it so many years later. It's a very special thing.
I would say it's actually due to Caroline and all the other people on the screen because it's you all who made the words come to life.
I mean, we've all, I mean, I look around and everyone who's on here has just such extraordinary careers, in so many different places and other, needless to say, other venues, other games, other things. And we all each of us come to each project with a desire to want to bring your A game. But because it's such a collaborative thing, and because obviously in this case, you never know. And this is, I mean, in a long career, you may have 3 or 4 of these, but this is a lightning in a bottle one, right? And this is because of everyone coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And not that any other thing that I've done is not as important or passionate to me when I'm doing it. But this one is really, it has sort of a mushroom cloud kind of quality, sort of almost a religious sort of experience to it. And as the tattoos that people will show you, or as kind of the tears in their eyes when they come up and or are talking to you or shaking, or when there's this sort of sense of like, here we are 10 freaking years later and we're still talking about
Yeah,
it.
still talking.
Sunday, and clearly we're going to do this next year. And there's this,
Yeah, absolutely.
tradition. But there's something that we all get to kind of really gather together around this thing that I'm so grateful for, and so I have such regard for each of you and what you bring to this, and to be in your company is just, it's really something. It's really something.
Tag on to that, the one you really, you're sweet, but also I wanted to tag on that talk about in a career of lots of things that are good and mediocre or whatever, you get like those couple things that really stand out and last through your career. Having it be that and also be really good, that's really unusual. That this is one of those things that's also really good that's going to follow me through whatever remains of my career. So it's cool. Those are beautiful points. Just wanted to share that.
Other parts of your career
right.
too, and like I've gotten on camera auditions. I don't even really do on camera, and they're just like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Why are they looking at me like that?" I'm supposed to be a pregnant hillbilly girl, and they're like, "Yeah, you're Jack," and I was like, "Am I not getting this part? You just wanted to say hi, didn't you?"
I think
true. It's been an incredible catapult for showing other parts of your acting repertoire. I can only speak for myself, but I am 1000% sure that I've gotten jobs and gotten because people love it, and people from across all media love it. I'm just going to say, there's that one TV show about the little girl who's bald, Stranger Things.
She's not wrong.
affected other storylines.
Yes.
Other mediums.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I started working in games. I was a teacher for a long time, and I left and started working in games about 5 or 6 years ago. And I think half of my first games job interview was talking about Mass Effect with the development team. And, without a doubt, my love and passion for the game is what ended up helping me switch careers, because there's so many people in development in the game space that have such love for the Mass Effect franchise and see it as, you know, the Citizen Kane of video games, or the Star Wars of video games, that I think you'd be hard pressed to go to any major development team that's around right now and ask them, hey, what are some of your favorite games? I think Mass Effect would be on, you know, their top five or 10 list across the board, just because of exactly what it is. So I think, you know, if a lot of us, even like me way out in the periphery, have been highly impacted by the work that you guys have done. So
I think what you're touching on there, Ash, is a really brilliant concept. Way back in the beginning of my career, a dear friend of mine was studying theology, like at McGill or somewhere, and we were talking, and I was bemoaning the superficiality of my career choice versus his, because I wanted to have meaning and impact, etc. And he's like, just stop. And he told me about the concept of divine spark, which is that when you're in touch with the highest and best part of yourself, and then you go do something, it's like a little spark, and it alights upon what you do. And when it goes out into the world, it will strike others, and maybe like awaken a little, like Cindy Lou Who, you know, and Horton Hears a Who, a little yap, to awaken them to some highest and best part of themselves, even if they're not paying attention to actually listening to what you recorded, whatever. Just the spark exists, and if you hold that spark and operate from there, it goes out and it amplifies, and that's what this game did, I think.
I think you're 100% correct. We'll go back to questions if time permits, but I want to give us ample time to go through some lines and have some fun. So does everyone have a PDF that I sent out?
Oh boy.
There we go.
I might be able to. If not, Ryan is still here, so I think Ryan can probably do it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Ryan's amazing. Ryan's our magician behind the curtain who makes all this happen.
I had so many windows open as I was starting this that I was like, I'm so glad I'm not Ryan today with more windows open. Because
I'm going to go to your email, Ash, and find the, there it is. There it is.
Look at Allie printed out and ready to go.
Yep.
Okay, I just do it in the chat. Everybody can click on it in the chat. I can't believe I did that. That's extraordinary. I'm not
the rest of us look back, Alice.
Cool. I'll give everyone a minute. And while everyone's opening.
I printed mine out this morning.
You what's that?
I said I printed mine out this morning.
Oh,
I also have no work at the moment, so.
Hey, that's a good thing.
Pages, right? We have 3 pages.
It should be 3 pages. I think there's.
Yeah.
I was drinking champagne this morning. I didn't have time.
Oh, girl.
So
I'm. This morning.
What are you celebrating?
Oh, and 7
Day drinking in the morning. I love it.
Lots to celebrate today. So if you are watching at home, what we're going to do is you guys sent me, along with questions, you sent me scenes that you would like to see performed or lines you would like to hear read. I didn't know Caroline was going to be here, but I'm so incredibly happy that she is, because it means I do not absolutely terrifying as someone who does not direct. No.
A few things. Get in there, Tiger.
Oh no, please God, I'll cry. So I think Caroline, Patrick, and Karen are going to kind of tweak these scenes out a little bit, and we're going to have some fun and run through these in any order that we want. We're just going to hang out.
This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Everyone.
Oh my God.
Sounds great.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Caroline, the ball is in your court. I just want to see you work. You could pick whatever you want.
Oh, so do we want to go down it, or should I like just pick any line, or?
You can probably
What moves you?
Yeah.
What speaks to you?
Yeah. There's no rules.
You don't have a boss today.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with Steve? We're gonna just shuffle off down to line 8. And what's happened prior to this line is you were running through the ship with Arachni was chasing you, so you
Yes.
you're
Yes.
buzzed
Oh, boy.
right up, and
Yes.
you run into a room, and no one can see you, so you have to let them know what you are, and
Yes.
This is awesome.
you say this line, and that was all made up. That's not what happened.
That was beautiful.
I think
That was all made up. Oh my god. That reminded me of that scene in 3 though.
Yep.
Backing off on my volume a little because I'm going to do it the way I remember it. Right.
Okay, I'm Steve is super.
I am Krogan!
Oh yes.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Yes, you are.
I can't believe he just did that on the spot. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
For sure.
Steve
Did I
is
get
the
some on
man.
you?
Yeah,
I'll say that.
yeah. We all had that I am Krogan moment earlier this morning, I think. So
Yeah.
wonderful.
You gotta check the chat now. People are gonna be so happy.
Yes, yes. There's some good ones.
She knows. She knows.
Let's go to Caden, line 17.
Why is it whenever someone says, with all due respect, they really mean kiss my ass?
Yes.
I think that was Ashley's line, wasn't it?
Was that actually?
It is Ashley's line, but
That's
she's not
17.
here, and someone really needed to say it because that's one of my favorite lines. So thank you so much. for
Oh,
doing
she
it.
is right. That is an
Sorry, I
Ashley
went to
line.
Yeah, that is Ashley line.
My apologies.
It might have. It was great though.
Here's Caden. Messed up kid that I what was it? Yeah, messed up kid that I was. I would never have dreamed of life that I've had. But sometimes the way things go down does matter, Shepard. Later, when you have to live with yourself, knowing that you acted with integrity, then it matters.
Oh, awesome.
That
Awesome.
was sweet. That was
So
cool.
good. So good.
Then I would probably just say something like faster, louder.
Only you could.
You know how many tears have been shed?
Look at Allie.
Just
How many times
get the
have
good
we all
stuff.
cried in the booth? Well,
Little bit of the bubbly.
Can I tell you my crying story with Caroline?
uh-oh.
Yes, Allie.
We were
Allie's-
recording. I've never gotten to tell this story with you present, so this is delightful. We were recording the end of 3, and which I never call the end because I'm always like, I'm here. If you ever, and it was the goodbye to Gareth scenes, and the writing just crawled right up under my skin. And I went to say the lines, and I was just like, bloop. I couldn't speak. And I had to take a second because I was like, Shepard does not cry. And so I took him in. I was like, oh. And you were on Skype. I couldn't see you, but I could hear you. And the rhythm was every time we finished a line, you'd be like, okay, yeah, all right. And you talk to the engineer, blah, 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 B-A, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then we go on to the next line. It was that rhythm, bum, 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 bum. So we did this line and I had to take a second. I broke the rhythm and I paused and I was like, okay, ready, and I did it. And it was all I could do to say those words. And then there was dead silence. And I was like, did we lose the Skype? And then I said, Caroline, I heard, yep, hold on. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
You were so strong and so steady all the time. You're like, nope, you don't got me. You don't got me. And I was like, oh, I got her.
I think that might have been one of the last sessions we did too. So I was a wreck.
She was primed.
John Dumbrow wrote Gareth in 3, and I'm gonna tell him that he broke both of you.
He did. You can tell him.
That he got you to crack, because that will mean a lot to him.
Oh yeah, crack right down the middle.
I
think all of
also,
us
if
cracked.
you don't mind, but I also remember this scene with Anderson. Anderson's spoiler.
I think we're good.
We're good.
It's been multiple years.
10
You're
years.
fine.
10 years.
It's been 10 years.
Going through that because of our system, you could hear Keith David doing his performance, and just
Oh,
that.
if Keith
that
David were
moment
there.
of him,
Oh.
talking to you like you were his daughter, and I was a wreck. I mean,
That was
the amount, too many tears were spilled.
that was one of my favorite moments because you just brought up something really key for the recording experience for us. Am I allowed to say the name of the system that you came up with?
Yeah, I didn't come up with it.
that BioWare came up with. It's a proprietary system called Veda, which allows like, for example, I was usually pretty early into the booth in the recording process. So I would go in and record my lines. And then when Ali or Alex or Courtney
I remember them talking about this.
or DC, they could hear me talk to them. They get to play back. And I really didn't get, Mark and I think Mark was probably in the same boat. We didn't get to take advantage of that system very much, but recording the last scenes with Anderson, I got to hear Keith and I got to act with Keith. And that is the secret sauce that is as yet mostly untapped in the game industry, when we get to actually be in this space, whether it's I'm here and someone is in their booth at home somewhere else, when we can hear each other and actually interact with each other. It takes the magic to a level that is undescribed.
Yeah, you say that about Keith, but my story is that I actually got to act with Jennifer Hale.
Sweet.
One of my favorite things about Veda, this might be apocryphal, but I've heard that Veda, the acronym actually spells VADER, but for some reason they copyright that word.
See details, Mark.
Details. That's awesome. That's wonderful. I love these stories. You want to do some more lines? We got plenty of time for a bunch. So
Go Patrick.
For the love of everything, if they that's not an actual line.
Yeah, you guys get to
Pick one. Make us do it.
Voice direct. This is the start of how the stream went wrong. This is
Yeah,
great.
so Caroline, please be ready to just cut our feeds because it's going to probably get ugly. Let's see. Go, Patrick. What about 13? Who's going to be Conrad Werner?
How about you be Shepard and I'll be Conrad Werner?
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh my God.
Did we make something up like Caroline did, or you guys just want to go for it?
And
Okay.
I'll make up a context. Yep.
Okay, so I mean, really, this is a love story. This is a lot of sexual tension. Finally, paying off. This is
Okay, cut the feed, Caroline.
we're done. So, just, intensity, passion, simmering.
Okay, Patrick,
Yes.
I'm gonna do
Yes, I
Conrad
believe
Werner Vorcha, if that's okay with you. He is a Vorcha in the
That's
game.
I mean, honestly, that was going to be my request, is that Mark do any kind of work to anything. So thank you so much for starting with this.
Absolutely.
Making my day.
Oh.
Shepard is a Solarian.
Yes. Preview. Give us a preview. Do it in your
Oh my
Blades
God.
characters. That's even better.
That's right. Yeah, because we're actually we're doing an RPG, a Mass Effect RPG.
Yeah,
and
so-
it's, I believe 2 or
Solarian, Vorcha, simmering sexual tension, Conrad
Yes.
Werner. Okay, and
Conrad, you have no idea what takes to get job done. This is how gun in your face feels. It happens to me every day. You can't handle this.
I thought you were a hero. Heroes don't do things like this. And you wish I'd never met you.
We all say that.
that was powerful. That was good. If there was one more to the mic, you're gonna do that one just one more time.
Oh,
my
God. I'll turn down the gain on this. Or...
Or is it P-pop, Mark?
You've just broken the internet, Mark.
Yeah.
Hell.
I gotta get this thing here. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, the pop filter probably wouldn't hurt.
There's normally a
We're gonna do more
technician
work.
that.
Don't need any more, honey.
No, not these days.
I will say when I said that Jen and Mark didn't get to play off each other very often, one of my fondest memories is of Mass Effect 3 when Mark, when I just shoved basically the entire script of the Blasto movie into random ambience throughout the Citadel.
Yes,
I knew
yes.
you were going to be Blasto because you're all or most of all the Hanar, and we were like, okay, well,
He's the Hanar? Oh, I didn't know that.
we have to have the his Elcor partner's hot sister.
Oh yeah, Boobin's sister.
Oh,
That's
they-
right.
yeah,
Boobin's sister. Yep.
Yeah. And I was like, could it be Jennifer Hale? Because I was like,
Yes, that's right. And not only that, we had a romance.
Coquettishly.
It was hot.
It was kind of one of my proudest moments.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So good. I don't know if chat's recovering from that one, but we have many more and still have some time.
I want to hear him do a Vorcha voice and interact with Grunt.
That one.
With Steve Bloom doing the Grunt voice.
Okay, that's pretty tough.
It is.
That'd be amazing.
Well, okay. So speaking of the Hanar, though, number 4, the grunt line is also one of my favorites.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know how to set this one up. I mean, I'm looking out my window and there's a lot of snow out there and it's cold. So it is sad, the thing that you're about to say. So maybe just, think of the poor, cold, freezing Edmontonian Hanar and just channel your woe.
I'm sad. Hanar can't wear sweaters.
It's beautiful.
That was
awesome. That was so.
Fish dog food shack.
Okay, Caroline, can you do another one? I'm laughing too hard to be of any use right now.
Why don't we go down to line 14? The shepherd trainer combo.
Happy to.
What number?
14? Line 14, according to my
14. Yeah.
Why don't we make this Jennifer and Alex? Yes.
In honor of the mums, I'm all in.
Do we need a different scenario, Caroline, or do we just go for the reenaction?
We really need to have Courtney do a Jack line for sure.
I do.
Oh yeah, we could do all this.
You should have the interaction with Allie and Jack, where Allie talks about how she found out her real name.
It's just to take one, and then I'll.
Oh, so we can see a switch up. We'll do it straight, and then give us a crazy take 2. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Commander, come to check on your new recruit.
Oh, just wanted to see how you were doing.
Still trying to get my bearings. When I was working on the Normandy's upgrades, I left at the end of the day. I didn't even have a toothbrush or a change of clothing until I made some emergency purchases on the Citadel.
Next time you need something, just ask. We're all in this together.
It's no trouble, Commander. I'm sure you have larger concerns.
Don't mock the toothbrush.
It goes on to the next page.
Sorry. I didn't see that. See, I do that all the time. We can put in a requisition order.
My toothbrush is a Sigen Pro Mark IV. It uses tiny Mass Effect fields to break up plaque and metal gum.
This is great.
Okay, yeah, you're on your own with that.
Can't top that.
Love that scene.
People love that toothbrush bit.
I know,
really
it's
do.
so great.
My favorite story about that toothbrush was because I wrote that as a throwaway line, and because Alex, you did such an amazing job on it, I wanted to call it back in the Citadel, so I used it in the Citadel DLC as that. Okay, great. We're because the Citadel DLC was the almost action comedy kind of DLC and stuff.
It was. It really was.
Toothbrush to pick the lock so the team can get in. The toothbrush is going to save the Normandy, and the art director, Derek Watts, was in an early playthrough of the DLC. We get to that point, and Trainer, in an early version of the scene, holds up nothing in her hand, and Derek says, "What? So we got to make the toothbrush? Really? It's gonna be like thousands of dollars to render that toothbrush. You know that, right? We got to render a toothbrush for one second.
Render that fucking toothbrush, damn it!"
And Derek deadpans at me, looks at the room, and goes, "Okay, that's pretty good. I'll make the toothbrush." It's like, okay, good. I got my toothbrush. That was the work we put into that.
That's beautiful.
I have a random question about the DLC. Whose idea was it to have us find out that Morden was working on a noir novel?
Okay, so I honestly, I think it was Dumbrowse, because.
Oh my god, my Morden died, so I didn't even see that.
Things
It's
are
really
happening.
hard to
We've been
get
working
to
for a
it.
long
Yeah,
time,
we've done-
possibly crunching a little, so everyone's getting really punchy.
We're a little
And
punchy.
some of it makes it into the game.
Yes. And there was a time when I had said, like, okay, well, I don't know. Morden he's made his big sacrifice. We made a lot of people cry. Would it really be appropriate to bring him back for anything? I'm not sure. I don't, I really want to honor that and respect that. And
Working on a noir novel, that is
just looked at me and
amazing.
said,
I gotta hear it.
more songs, dude. I think you can just do that for us. So I was like, oh, well, all right. If you don't think it'd be disrespectful, I can put in something where he's doing a couple, doing a couple little things, maybe have him working on his noir story. Because again, by that point, you had shown me that you could deliver literally any line. So I was like, yes, okay. The sky was the color of a TV station tuned to a dead portrait. Sure. All right, he can say that.
Right. That's right. Ah, that was funny.
So good.
Okay, thank you.
So we are getting.
Something on the Citadel. Well, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did you get drunk on the Citadel? Is there? I remember him in the shower. Not at the Citadel.
Well, Grunt
That's
and Tal,
Tally
who
who
ended
got
up
drunk in the
drunk.
shower.
Yeah, he ends up drunken in the shower.
Oh
right?
yeah, Grunt.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The sweater's line.
Yes, he's like passed out.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
Loved it.
Well done.
Do you want to
We
pop?
are-
Let's go to line 11.
That was the best.
Yeah, 11. We're getting lots of
Grunt was the MVP of the Citadel
Yeah. he was up
DLC,
there.
man.
And so that's Shepard and Thane. Yes, lots of requests for Thane, and you're on deck there, Keith.
line 5 too. We could
You,
do
Mark.
that one.
Oh, Thane. Oh,
Shall I be Shepard in this one?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You all set, Keith?
I am ready.
You've been killing since you were 6?
Of course not. I did not make my first kill until I was 12. It was my Drell mitzvah.
Today you are an assassin.
today you are an assassin.
Yeah.
Have a little more compassion when you ask that, and
Oh,
then
sure.
your response, if it can be more like, "No, dummy,
Compassion.
Keith." So
Yeah.
like
Wow.
dummy. Okay. So just
Okay, all right.
What's wrong with you?
You've been killing since you were 6?
Of course not. I did not make my first kill until I was 12.
That's right. That was that adjustment, Kev.
You guys just witnessed the power of a voice director.
Wonderful. So cool to see.
That's amazing.
I love the troll mitzvah though. It was my troll mitzvah.
Mark has a definite face
yes,
when he
5.
does Shepard.
If we can.
Oh yeah, I know it. It's great.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Now that Keith's warmed up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe
I
it's.
love his first line reading of that too. It was just so straight. That's the thing that made me laugh about Neil Shepard.
It was natural.
He's so straight laced that
Among
it's funny.
Yeah.
You go, however the spirit moves you.
However,
There's the magic right here, guys. This is how it really goes down.
Yeah.
Somebody else got me.
we gotta hear Allie and we gotta hear Courtney
That's what I'm
I'm
waiting on.
Kira, Lord of Hunters.
and DC.
My hands be steady,
His Legion
my
voice.
aim be true, and my feet swift. And should the worst come to pass, grant me forgiveness.
Holy shit! Holy
Oh,
shit!
man.
Part A, you want the whole? You want part
Yeah.
B?
Yes,
do it.
Part
yes.
B?
Woo.
Professional.
Yes,
Holy
those lines
shit.
go together, Keith. So
So do them then together? The body is not our true self. The soul is. Body and soul work as one in a whole person. When the soul is weakened by despair or fear, when the body is ill or injured, the individual is disconnected, no longer whole.
Who wrote that? Who's that? Who's
Beautiful
that?
stuff.
Oh, that's like goosebumps,
I
man.
don't remember if that was
so good.
Chris Heffler or Chris McDowell, but no, whoever it is, that was amazing, Keith.
Okay.
Those are the things that made this such a treat. And there's been so much going back to DC's comment about learning as you act, that it's not about acting at something, it's about allowing the emotion to be full and open and getting out of the way. And Thane was a real lesson in opening up to the character, in allowing this beautifully conflicted character to exist. And that comes back to, again, why the writing is so good, is that each character has these conflicts within themselves. They are flawed. Each character has a tragic flaw that is revealed through the course of conflict. And that's how great characters are revealed. So grateful. And finally, going back to the history making aspect of Mass Effect. Star Wars for sure. But the reason I love Star Wars so much is because of a show I watched as a kid called Star Trek. You got to look at the bridge of a global enterprise where you saw a Black woman and a Russian man and an Asian man and a Vulcan all working together to discover a new universe.
And a Scotsman, dear God.
I think as much as this aspect definitely is picking up on the Star Wars of our generation and the Citizen Kane, I also think it's a huge, with its representation of all aspects of humanity, really a child of Star Trek as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think
that was very well said.
It's kind of a combination of both.
Shatter that by asking you to say "sleep well and dream of bulbous women" for me, because that's my favorite Thane line ever.
Someone in our comments just made a really good point about a line that he loves a lot. Tally, does this unit have a soul? Well. That is Calaveras.
Yes. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I think we've gotten some Ali Hillis.
Yes. How about number 10?
Yes, please.
Yes.
We're going to start with number 10.
Ali.
Okay, Ali.
Yeah.
Her dark phase.
I love Ali's dark phase. It's so good.
Is it the flay line?
The dark phase was good. I was confused.
I love Ali.
A little at first, but this is nice. Does somebody have can you set the scene for me a little bit?
I love the way she just drops her natural register.
They don't want to pay you.
It seems like it takes
for
no
the
effort.
information that you've acquired for them now that they've gotten the information, and you are politely negotiating the terms of your compensation.
I'll just say, hey, little lady, you don't need to worry about that. Someone's just called you little lady, so go.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever faced an Asari commando unit before? Few humans have. I'll make this simple. Either you pay me, or I flay you alive.
Yes!
With my mind.
Yes!
I love it. I love that you can just flip into that voice. It sounds still identical to this
You
day.
were correct, Jeffrey H. Haskell.
I did it twice.
Woo!
Damn.
So good.
Damn.
I don't know which ones you guys. What's chat
We need
looking
some
like?
Jack.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Jack. Jack in there.
Jack and a Morden.
I think line 6 has some great Jack stuff.
There it is.
Yes.
Caroline?
That's the one I was looking for.
Some of her lines to
Oh,
her cadets
boy.
would be pretty good.
Can you be a little drunk saying this line? I think this is at a bar. What's the bar, Patrick?
Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Well, that's one of them. Yeah.
You've had a few cocktails.
The top line?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been around. Ran around with gangs. Wiped out some gangs. Joined a court. Kept the haircut.
Nice.
That was awesome.
Can I hear the other two? Because
God.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we just roll into those? Because those are.
Yeah, I've been around. Ran around with gangs. Wiped out some gangs. Joined a cult. Yeah, kept the haircut. I'm gonna beat you till candy comes out.
Yeah.
Hey. Nice body. Now you look like a sex bot instead of a sex toy.
Oh my Gotta love Jack.
All three of our lines worked with the drunk.
They really do. Yeah. That's
Drunk Jack.
party.
Drunk Jack.
Yes.
Oh.
Can we also,
Oh,
I
man.
would also like to pause to note, champagne. More Allie, but also how much
The bubbly.
trouble Patrick caused by the whole on the pool table stuff with Jack.
I
The two
got
of
in
you.
trouble with
Localization was like, what are they doing on the pool table? And Patrick's like, no, nothing, never mind. They're
Don't worry about it.
Because there's
playing
one-
pool. Playing pool.
There's a line in the Citadel where it's Shepard is dancing, and if you're in a romance with Jack, Jack says, save some of that energy. We're going to do it on the pool table later. And then Cortez, kind of offended, says, hey, people eat at that table. And says, you're damn right they do.
That's awesome.
I'm
I
sorry,
love that line.
because I have
That is the best.
France came back with, could you explain what Jack means by
Alex
that?
is
Wrong you.
No.
No.
Zut alors.
Yeah.
Nice.
The editors get the translator questions, but the big one.
Sacre bleu.
I'll make Patrick, this one is your fault. You were answering this.
That was your line, Patrick? Of course it was. Why
And they accepted that. They just said, okay.
They just moved in. They haven't got any furniture yet.
That's right.
They put a cloth down on the
The
table.
best part is it was France who needed me to explain the joke, while apparently Germany was like, yes, please confirm that this is regarding the possibility of oral sex. Thank you. And
Okay, but
Nothing sexual rattles Germany. Great. So could I request 15 with Ali and Mark?
15.
Yeah.
Allie seems
Hold
excited.
on.
Oh yeah, this is a steamy one.
It's
Oh,
steamy.
steamy.
Oh,
Getting
man.
steamy. All right.
Right, Mark.
Uh-oh.
We got this.
Good to go. Anything
ready for it.
anything else from our
I was going to
directors?
say, should we add? Caroline looks like she has an idea.
Caroline, yes.
That is the finger of I have a naughty idea.
No. Go for it. What did you say, Alex?
I said, do it, please. Now we've had the oral sex. I'm ready for more.
I'm warmed up.
I just mean, if you
That's
have a
right.
good idea, I feel like now is the time, Caroline. You went like this. Ali's had a bit of drink. I feel like this is very positive for the happy day of the happy N7 World Day.
Well, there's nothing you can add to this. It's
really not.
It's just lovely
What line is this?
lines of dialogue. I think
I don't know, man.
say it from the heart.
Right.
Maybe
So
you guys can just be really happy that today is a really good day for a number of reasons.
okay, so you're asking me to not butcher the writer's work. Is that what you're asking?
If you could just say the word trippingly off the tongue.
Okay.
Trippingly. I
All
can't
right.
do that right.
All right. Allie, you ready to go?
I'm so ready, Mark. I am
Okay.
the commander.
Friends doesn't cut it for me anymore, Liara.
Well, that sounds serious.
I am serious. Whatever happens, I'd like to spend my life with you.
And you're extremely lucky. But I feel that way too.
Oh, shower. That was so steamy hot.
Awesome.
My monitor was
To the
scorched.
pool table.
My monitor was.
To the pool table for both of you.
Table. I need to start dancing now.
I have a question for you guys.
Mark Mears Shepard is so straight laced. I cannot help but die every single time.
Because there's a lot of upset people out there about that.
Yeah, there are. I'm sure there's mods that you
Yeah,
can.
a lot
Mark
of
is
that.
very straight ahead, yeah.
A lot
Are
of
there that like to voice
Voltage problems.
yeah, a lot of
Voltage
creative
problem.
solutions if there was a hole.
Who said voltage problems? That was really good.
That was me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Voltage problems.
You know, I think it was a process of us just kind of figuring out what we wanted to do. If we had known, I mean, I'll be honest, the number of people who were like, I don't know, are people going to want to romance Garrus? Are people going to want to even romance Liara? She's blue. I don't know. I mean, I kind of see that as she's blue. She doesn't really have hair. It's kind of spikes in the back. Are people going to be okay with that? We'll just have to see. I think we
were young and naive, and now we know that BioWare fans are thirsty.
I do remember.
You're not wrong.
I remember the difference of Thane and the first art of Thane.
Yes.
And Derek came in and said, "So what do you think of this guy?" And I was like, "It's really hot. That's going to be a killer. People are going to want to romance that gentleman." It's remarkable, but they fall in love with these flawed human beings, flawed characters, and Thane was another one of them.
And also, unfortunately, generally, there's a fairly high cost element to having romances and all the extra scenes and stuff. So a lot of time we've got
nice
X number of Nookie scenes we can have. How many
X number of Nookie scenes
and we fit in, so to speak. I'll just stop now.
No, that's.
I actually have another question. Can I ask another question just of the BioWare team? There must be at some point been some thought about doing more DLC.
Raphael just wants to interview everybody.
Or a
So
I don't know,
I love it.
some
He's such
kind
a
of a
nerd.
new party.
That's awesome.
Everyone-
Yeah, he is.
Has that ever come up as a reunion?
You should do a podcast and just interview all the people from BioWare.
I'm sorry, my stuff's over a line there.
Crazy asking that question right now on this.
I think we might be going through a tunnel.
Hey, got it out. Bad reception.
Just so we're clear, we're talking about something that will get us more money. No, we're just.
There was a press release this morning.
I was going to say, I might refer you to the BioWare blog.
Something new is being worked on.
Those are legal things that legal people are allowed to say.
That's right.
My apologies.
We
My
are
apologies.
getting close to time. I want to make sure that we read line 19 because I think it's very it's suitable for today. So line 19, and then we're going to plug a couple things that are happening today on N7 Day and a couple other things, and then we're going to get out of here. So let's do 19 quick, and then we'll wrap things up and start to say our byes. And
Can we share this, Mark? Do you want to start
certainly.
it and then I'll finish it?
You bet.
Okay.
Perfect.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
This war's brought us pain and suffering and loss. But it's also brought us together as soldiers, allies, friends. This bond that ties us together is something that the Reapers will never understand. It's more powerful than any weapon, stronger than any ship. It can't be taken or destroyed.
The next few hours will decide the fate of everyone in the galaxy. Every mother, every son, every unborn child. They're trusting you, depending on you to win them their future. A future free from the threat of the Reapers.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Thank you, guys.
Ooh.
Made me cry.
That's fucking tears, man.
I could
Jesus.
an augmented legion line just to round it out. And here it comes. Does this country have a soul?
Nice.
Yes, it does.
Ooh.
Wow.
Let us heal now. Let us.
End quote.
Mark, do you want to say something about Michael Hogan's fund?
Yes, I just wanted to take the opportunity
yes.
on N7
Yes.
Day to give a call to Mass Effect fans, anyone who feels that they are able to, if you could donate to Michael Hogan's fundraiser. For those who are unaware, Michael Hogan, beloved Mass Effect cast member and a fantastic human being, suffered a very serious accident earlier this year. I just tweeted about it earlier today. You can also find it's a GoFundMe account for Michael Hogan, so you should be able to find that link. And they're very close to reaching their goal, so it would be really great if we could push them over the line on N7 Day.
Amen. He's an extraordinary guy. In fact, I'm going to see if we can put the link for the fundraiser in the comments section of the video. I
Please.
think we should
That would
be
be
able
great.
to do that. Ryan will weigh in on that. But yes, that would be amazing. He's a beautiful man. I mean, just a beautiful man. And supporting them is so important.
Yeah, I know the community cares deeply about him. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we get a couple extra bucks in there to help him out. Before we get out of here, I want to say, thank you to you all. It means a lot to everyone watching, and your performances are absolutely magical, and the work you've done on the game is absolutely magical. And we, all of us in the community, couldn't thank you enough. We, of course, are hoping for more in the future one day, so we'll keep everything crossed. Jennifer and Mark, do you want to plug the game that you guys are doing on the official BioWare Twitch channel, I believe?
Oh, yes, Mark, you say that.
Sure. We are doing a Mass Effect RPG. It's a reskinned version of Blades in the Dark, and we have very cleverly called it Omni Blades in the Dark. And you get a little taste of it because I will be playing a Vorcha, and Jennifer is playing a Solarian. And we're also joined by some devs from BioWare and some folks from Friends at the Table, including Austin Walker, who is our fantastic GM. And I believe that is starting at, I want to say, 2 p.m. Pacific on the BioWare Twitch.
I think so. Yeah.
get it right?
And be kind. It's only my second time ever doing one of those.
You were fantastic. I loved your character.
I had so much fun.
I'd like to nominate you for Solarian of the Year. I'm, okay.
You're the century, so there you go.
Thank you. Bill, you're gonna have to try harder next year because you've got a very high bar that Jennifer has set. And
I saw and heard.
One of the actually. Anybody out there who's wondering, we are signing after this. Several of us are signing after this. So that is happening. Just check our individual social medias. You'll find us there.
Yes, almost forgot to plug that. So yeah, check out everyone's individual social medias to get some stuff signed. Please do that. It is they have some awesome stuff that they're putting out there. Cool headshots and character shots and all that fun stuff. And nothing better to do. Spend your money on an N7 day. So that's great stuff. Again,
Jennifer,
guys,
thank you for making this possible.
Yes.
Thanks
Oh my
for
God.
bringing us all together.
Thanks so much for including
Don't
us.
forget
Yes.
to keep up with everything nerd at nerdappropriate.com.
Yes.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
Ash, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you.
buddy.
I want to thank Ash.
Point to you.
And I want to
you,
thank
guys.
Ryan Green, our amazing producer who
Hey, Ryan.
did also.
Ryan.
Yes, Ryan.
And I want to thank Caroline and Patrick and Karen for sorting out so they could come, and BioWare for doing this. And I want to thank every single human who has ever worked at BioWare and this is a massive team. I want to thank you all. I want to thank this community and every single human who's plays this game. I adore you and I'm so grateful to you. We get to do what we do because you enjoy that. And thank you for letting us live in your world. Thank
Hey,
you.
we need a group photo.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. A group photo. Everybody whoever is watching this. And here's the photo. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm getting my notes. Okay.
I'm gonna
Everybody
smile
say
for-
Normandy.
For your favorite little.
Everybody say Normandy.
Ready? One. Hold on. I got to get my fingers on here to try to screenshot this. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Yay. Honestly, guys, thank you all so much. You guys are
So
fantastic.
I feel like Mark and Jennifer need to say the line to cut us off, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it-
Oh, really?
Shall we
Shall we-
do the
yes.
version instead of the I version?
We'll do the Wii version, and we'll
Okay,
see.
ready?
Zoom doesn't always help us sync up, but we'll try to get it as close as possible. Right.
On 3 or after 3?
3 and then go.
Okay, ready. Here we go. We should go.
We should go.
Ah, yes!
Oh, God.
Cut the feed.
Yay!
Thank you, guys.
Guys.
Love you
Thanks, you
all.
guys.
Happy N7 day.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Happy
Thanks so
Happy
much.
N7 day. An N7 day to remember.
Yeah. Everyone.
That's the alley.
Go forth and heal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It was really nice to do this with a pot.
All right. Well,
That was awesome, man. That was everything that I wanted it to be.
that was great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was a cool little thing to do. We might do more stuff like this in the future for other things like that.
Yeah, we should.
Easy to
Totally
do.
should.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, man. This is my
Keona?
first time on video, so it's like, dude, I'm sold. I'm sold on this. All right, we're gonna do more.
Definitely. Good deal. Keona, advertise away, buddy.
All right, so guys, you can find us at renegadepopculture.com, as you see on the bottom of the screen there. You can also find us on Twitter at renpopculture. That's REN Pop Culture. You can find me on Instagram, Neoplasmic24. I post infrequently, but yeah. RenegadePopCulture.com. We have a lot of show notes of our podcast. We have episodes up there. We have Brock and Mike's fresh takes as well. We post those videos every week. And yeah, man, just find us, go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/RPC42 if you want to join. Yeah, anything else, you guys, I'm always reachable through the website and through Twitter and stuff like that. So yeah, just feel free, jump in and let us know what you think. Because we're still growing, we're still learning things and still figuring things out, of course. And, things will hopefully get better and keep going the way that they've been going. So, yeah. And just thank you to everybody who already knows us and follows us. We appreciate all of you guys and we love you. So, yeah. Happy N7 Day, guys. Absolutely. Happy Mass Effect Remaster Day. God.
I cannot believe that.
I'm so happy.
Makes me so happy.
Been waiting for years, man. Been waiting for years.
Just seeing how they look in that teaser trailer looks great. If they could achieve that kind of quality in the game, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah. And it's gonna be next gen compatible as well. So
yes. Everything's included, everything's all good to go. And the fact that they're also in the early stages of making the next one, it wasn't put on ice for as long as they said it was going to be when all that stuff first came.
I wonder what the next one's gonna be. What do you think? Because
I
Jennifer Hale said she's available, man.
She is available, but what I honestly want, I want them to not completely give up, because you can hard step with Andromeda. Like, I liked it more than most people, but I still believe they can fix it. I just think it'd be really cool if they got some of the old guard to basically come in and been like, you need a Mass Effect 2 level edition of characters? What's going on? Like, it'd be awesome, because you can't tell me that Jen Hale, Mark Mir, and a bunch of those people, especially I can't blanket on the guy who played Caden. I think if you threw anything at him, he'd want to do it. He seems like such a nerd for everything Mass Effect. He's like, I want to ask questions. I was in the game and I don't know these things. Please, I want to know.
Yes, he totally is. Yeah.
And just
Raphael Sparge.
Yeah. But you find me. This is technically put up on my burner channel, but then it'll be put up on my actual channel, so you'll be seeing me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mostly on Twitch. And as Keona said, I'm on a couple of things that are on the website, which I greatly we're going to try that again without greatly appreciate all the things that I get to do. So it's awesome. Of course. Like I said,
of course.
Plan on doing some more stuff on camera together. We got to figure that out. Like I've said many times off camera that I want to try and do some stuff with Twitch with you guys. So we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. And we're going to do more of the Renegade Arcade, which is our video game focused show, and more of the, hopefully get the wrestling podcast going.
Yes.
I really want to get going.
How we want to call that.
While you're...
So
yeah, I don't know, man. We'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And also the comics podcast as well. So
yes,
which we have going on. That's Capes.
A lot of fun stuff coming.
Yeah.
Capes is great. That's been doing really good so far.
That's been fun. Yeah, that's been fun.
This will turn into a lot of rambling about our future plans if we don't cut her off. So we're
gonna man, we better cut it off right now. But yeah, we're gonna go watch that. I'm gonna watch that Omni Blades in the Dark.
I am too. I had no idea that was happening.
That's freaking amazing. The Fortress Shepherd. All right.
I can't get over that. See you guys later.
All right. See you guys.